503.085, justification and criminal and civil immunity for use of permitted force exceptions. 1. A person who uses force as permitted in KRS 503.050, 503.055, 503.070, and 503.080 is justified in using such force and is immune from criminal prosecution and civil action for the use of such force unless the person against whom the force was used is a peace officer, as defined in KRS 446.010, who is acting in the performance of his or her official duties, and the officer identified himself or herself in accordance with any applicable law, or the person using force knew or reasonably should have known that the person was a peace officer. As used in this subsection, the term criminal prosecution includes arresting, detaining in custody, and charging or prosecuting the defendant. 2. A law enforcement agency may use the standard procedures for investigating the use of force as described in subsection 1 of this section. But the agency may not arrest the person for using force unless it determines that there is a probable cause that the force that was used was unlawful. 3. The court shall award reasonable attorney fees, court cost, compensation for loss of income, and all expenses incurred by the defendant in defense of any civil action brought by a plaintiff if the court finds that the defendant is immune from prosecution as provided in subsection 1 of this section. .090, the use of physical force in law enforcement. 1. The use of physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable when the defendant, acting under official authority, is making or assisting in making an arrest, and he, A, believes that such force is necessary to effect the arrest, B, makes known the purpose of the arrest or believes that it is otherwise known or cannot reasonably be made known to the person to be arrested, and C, believes the arrest to be lawful. 2. The use of deadly physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable under subsection 1 only when A, the defendant in effecting the arrest is authorized to act as a peace officer, and B, the arrest is for felony involving the use or threatened use of physical force likely to cause death or serious physical injury, and C, the defendant believes that the person to be arrested is likely to endanger human life unless apprehended without delay. 3. The physical force, including deadly physical force, by a defendant upon another person is justifiable when the defendant is preventing the escape of an arrested person and when the force could justifiably been used to effect the arrest under which the person is in custody, except that a guard or other person authorized to act as a peace officer is justified in using any force, including deadly force, which he believes to be necessary to prevent the escape of a person from a jail, prison, or other institution for the detention of persons charged with or convicted of a crime. Excuse me. 503.100 Prevention of a suicide or crime. 1. The use of physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable when the defendant believes that such force is immediately necessary to prevent such other persons from A. Committing suicide or inflicting serious physical injury upon himself, or B. Committing a crime involving or threatening serious physical injury to person, substantial damage to or loss of property, or any other violent conduct. 2. The use of deadly physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable under subsection 1B only when the defendant believes that the person whom he seeks to prevent from committing a crime is likely to endanger a human life. 3. The limitations imposed on the justifiable use of force in self-protection by KRS 503.050 and 503.060 for the protection of others by KRS 503.070 for the protection of property by KRS 503.080 for the effectuation of an arrest or the prevention of an escape by KRS 503.090 apply notwithstanding to the criminality of the conduct in which such force is used.